I now declare the 15th session of the AWGLCA closed.
Okay, what we've just seen there is the very end of one of the sessions, a big plenary session of 194 countries, all trying to get to some agreement over climate change. It was just one track. These are the most complicated negotiations which have ever taken place. They're nominally about climate change, but actually they're about the economics of individual countries. Okay, there's two great sticking points at the moment. One is over the ambition, especially of the rich countries, to reduce their emissions. And the rich countries are just not saying at the moment what they're going to do, what they're prepared to do. And the poor countries are fighting tooth and nail to get them to do it. And the other one is over money, because the rich countries have accepted financial responsibility to help the poor countries adapt to climate change, and they've got to put up money. They are not putting up the money, and this is causing tremendous distrust and disquiet. Until they've sorted out the money, I suspect that the other things will not fall into place. But it's money and commitment. These are the two things which are lacking in the talks at the moment. What you have is the Qataris are not very good at running something this complicated. And so I fear that these talks are going to go on for very, very much longer, and they may even collapse in the morning. It won't be the end of it. It just means that they will have to resume at some other point. But we're getting to a point where we know it's going to go on all night. We know that the differences between the rich countries and the poor countries is still enormous, and the bridging which they're going to have to do, the diplomatic bridging, is almost impossible at the moment. Having said that, it's possible to bring something out. I think America could be much more generous, if you like, with the money. Other countries could offer to compromise. At the moment, there's no sign of that. I just came back from there this morning, and it was all very calm. I mean, you've got 15,000 people in one of the vastest conference centres in the world. You'd think that this was all going very, very smoothly, and it is. On the surface, it is, but underneath it, there's huge diplomatic wrangling. You can't get into most of the meetings; they're closed. It's a very opaque process, which means it's very difficult to follow. But things pop out and people tell you what's going on. But there's no way of checking exactly what your diplomat said. You don't take any part in the negotiations. And it's a very great problem, I think, for most civil society. To get to a global agreement on climate change will take at least until 2015. These particular talks are a necessary step on the way. So they is a process which has taken years and years and years, and to get to the next step, you have to get agreement on this one. And every time they don't make progress, it gets harder for the next time. So, because the agreements in 2011, 2012 were very weak, this one it gets harder and harder. So, as we go into 2013, which will be in Poland, this meeting will be in Poland next year, and 2014 in Venezuela, it gets harder than ever to find this agreement between 194 countries.